Leo, no work whatsoever. Okay. Leo, the photographer, right? I hope you're still the same, Leo. Leo, I may have mentioned in the past as well, one of my very good friends is a wedding photographer and a photographer. And fortunately, it's the same for him as well. But I've given him some advice as well. Let me tell you something, Leo, and I'm going to be coming to this in the webinar, but you must make sure that you're advertising on Christmas Day onwards. Okay, so don't leave it until January the 1st. Like many businesses I know, what they think is that January the 1st is the time to start marketing, get that budget in there, pump the advertising in. No, Christmas Day, make sure you put some budget aside now for your marketing for Christmas Day onwards. And so I'll probably explain that a bit more here actually. It is indeed coming. Christmas is indeed coming, and sorry if you can hear sirens. I can hear a load of sirens going past my place. So Christmas is indeed coming. I'm not a massive fan of Christmas, so I don't enjoy talking about it. But and I'm sure a few of you guys are the same. But we have to at least think about marketing. It's wow, there's so much to do around this time of year when it comes to marketing. And if you're an e-commerce business, then, well, I personally want to speak to you and I personally want to help you. So if you're an e-commerce business and you really have some concerns, or you're thinking, okay, what do I really need to focus on? Can someone just check my business out? Can a fresh pair of eyes look at my website, look at it on mobile, and just give me some tips? I would love to do that because I have a lot of passion in terms of the e-commerce side of things and mobile experience. Please just email me. If you're watching this on recording, feel free to email me anytime this week. It's Matt, M-A-T-T, @infoserve.com, and I'll personally pick that one up for you. So if you're an e-commerce business, I'll personally look at your website, your mobile experience, and I'll just give you some tips and guidance. It's anything I spot. But we do a lot of work with e-commerce clients, and we have some amazing results. But I also see, a lot of businesses getting it wrong, especially with their mobile experience. So mobile, even if you're not e-commerce, any type of business, your website on mobile it has to be up to scratch coming into the winter period and New Year. So make sure you have your mobile experience looking as good as it can be. Mobile first, that's all I'll say. So, and one of the reasons for that is because more and more people will be using mobile over Christmas. So if you're a service-led business, not e-commerce, so if you're not e-commerce, and it could be a plumber, it could be anything, accountants, solicitors, any of the business, really, small business, then you need to be, these are just kind of rough notes here just to get us into the swing of the webinar. But Christmas Day onwards, as I said to you just a few minutes ago, Christmas Day is going to be essential. And you're probably thinking, so I want to elaborate on that now, because many of you are probably thinking, why would I be marketing on Christmas Day? What a waste of money. What a waste of budget. Well, no. So the reason why I'm talking, I'm saying you need to activate your marketing on Christmas Day is because more and more people each year, just put my mug down there, my cup, more and more people each year are starting their searches on Christmas Day, believe it or not. Now, I don't know why that is personally, but the trend is there, the data's there. And actually, I should know why that is, because as I get older and older, I get more bored. I don't know. I get bored on Christmas Day as time goes on, as we get older, right? And we're sitting there at, 5 o'clock, and we're just kind of, what are we doing? We're on our mobile phones, aren't we? We're some of us are probably sick of talking to our family by that point. We're just, browsing on our mobile phone, maybe looking at sales. Right, we're maybe just looking at the next thing that we need for a gift that we've received, or something that we could do to add on to that. I don't know. You've got, let's say, an Apple Watch for Christmas, and you want to look at the straps. So you're actually more and more people are doing that on Christmas Day. So searches are up, but the type of searches, the quality of those searches are getting better and better for small business owners. What we find people are doing is they might be looking at sale. They might be looking into the whole Boxing Day sales already. And by the way, sales start on Christmas Day as well, online. But they're also just, browsing for for the next purchase, or they're just bored, they're looking at holidays already. But they're actually they will actually stumble across more and more small businesses in terms of, if for example, I need to do my kitchen. I'm thinking about my kitchen. I'm talking to my family on Christmas Day about I really want to get my kitchen sorted. What I'm thinking is maybe like a grey look with, I don't know, oak, blah 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 blah, and they'll go, oh yeah, that'd be cool. And I was like, yeah, nothing on TV. Should we just have a look at? Look, this is the one I'm looking at, and I actually have that conversation on with my mobile phone, showing pictures on the website of the kitchen that I'm looking at. So, for example, if you're a kitchen designer, kitchen installer, Christmas Day is the day to be found. Now, I'm saying Christmas Day, but I actually mean that you need to have that marketing set up for Christmas Day, because it's got to be running. It has to have that momentum going into Boxing Day, going into the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, all the way through until mid to end of January. So you really, there's a peak time in those searches, and it's a quality time for searches. So make sure that your marketing is set up. And PPC, for example, is essential to all of this. I'm sure you all know what PPC is. It's pay per click. You don't have to do it with us. By the way, I'm just saying pay per click is essential. But obviously we'd love to help. But PPC is all about getting you found when someone's searching for the service that you offer. But not even just getting you found for the service that you offer, but getting you found for related searches. And in a webinar, I think soon we're gonna elaborate on this more. So keep watching these webinars every week up until Christmas, because we're going to elaborate on some of these things. But the beauty of PPC, and as you know, I've got a massive passion in PPC, huge interest in it, because I love the fact that it's so geared to getting a business found for many, many different searches. So it's not about SEO. So SEO gets you found, hopefully, fingers crossed, for one or two keywords. PPC's infinite keywords, all these different variations, even spelling errors. You're really casting that net wide, like a fisherman on a boat. You really throw that net out wide. You get as much as you can, and then you can filter out what you want from there. But with PPC, it gets you found for related searches as well. So, for example, if I'm showing the family, I don't know, I'm just Scottish, day trips, for example, day trips in Scotland. I'd want to have a PPC campaign. So if I'm a B&B in Scotland, on the west coast, maybe those beautiful drives in Scotland, I want to have my B&B come up for those searches as well. West Coast drives, Scotland, whatever it may be. Those kind of related searches that you wouldn't normally think to get found for. Like these are not the kind. Normally, if you're probably setting up a campaign yourself, you go, right, I've got to get found for B&B, I've got to get found for bed and breakfast, or plumber, solicitor, so on and so on. This is where experts come in. What we and what other people do is they'll think about other things that you could come up for. Because if I'm driving up to Scotland for the day, and if a B&B comes up into that search that I was doing on, maybe it's Christmas Day, and I was going, we could go for a drive up to Scotland maybe for, I don't know, the 28th of December. And then a B&B comes up, and it's a beautiful B&B, and it's like, one night from £39, for example. I'm like, what? Why don't we just stay over? So coming up for those kind of searches leads, it's that discovery stage. So there's all sorts of things you can do with PPC, but essentially the big thing is getting you found from Christmas Day onwards. The only way for you to get found on Google from Christmas Day onwards is PPC. That's really the only way. Those ads appear right at the top of Google, above everything, above the organic results and everything. So the only kind of nailed on way to get found leading up to Christmas and beyond Christmas is going to be PPC. And you want to be getting those things set up now, because these things take time to gain momentum. PPC is all about optimization. It can take 3, maybe even 4 months to tweak a campaign, to really perfect a campaign. It's like oiling well-oiled campaign campaign, and it takes time to get that going. Email marketing is just my final bit on the checklist, I would say. Email marketing is overlooked by so many businesses. I mean, I spoke to a few of our own customers, and the other week, they're spending a lot of money on PPC, and I said to them all, are you doing email marketing? And most of them said no. So it blows my mind that email marketing isn't a thing that many small business owners are doing. There's a science to it. You know, you don't just send one email out and hit and hope. You've got to do an email journey. You've got to write 3 months of emails, and you've got to drip feed those emails into small segments of data at a time. Can't just send an email out to everyone in one go. You've got to drip feed it. You've got to have a story, a journey. It's got to be 3 months of planning. Email marketing is a science, and that's why I'm saying start to look into email marketing now if you can. Okay, so before I go on, let me just drop back into the chat there. Okay, so I'm going to grab a quick sip of my drink. Yes, Leo, good. I'm glad I got the right Leo there. Let me know if there's any technical issues, if you're having issues seeing my screen. I'm going to be getting some heavy stuff in a moment. And this particular webinar, like I say, is going back to kind of the old days of what we did in our webinars. So for anyone that's missing out today, well, they're certainly going to miss out, because this is a good one. We're starting to ramp it back up to how we were doing it in April, May, June, etc. So we really started to pull back on some of the top information, as you can see on my screen there. Okay, so last week we looked at your contact forms, where to place the contact forms and where to place contact details. All right, what else did we do? We looked at obviously why they need to be simple, that they need to be close to the top of the page, all of these contact details. And we looked at contact forms, and we looked at the best practices. And so if you missed that webinar, it isn't on YouTube yet, but I will be putting that one up on YouTube. But better than that, I'll be putting it up on our website very soon as well. So now that we're kind of getting back into the sort of webinar style, we're also mixing it up with a Q&A. So we will also be doing audits, so I can look at your website, no problem. But we are doing a bit more of this, and I'll be putting these webinars back onto our website. That's infoserve.com/help-hub. Help-hub. So just /help-hub. Let's have a look at your service pages. Okay, so these service pages have had quite a lot of interest, actually. I had a few emails back when I mentioned to everyone that we're looking at service pages, and everyone was saying, well, I'm actually really keen on this one, because I think everyone recognizes how important these kind of pages are on the website. But I'm actually going to look at the broader picture. I mentioned service pages, but I'm actually going to look at the visitor journey as well. I'm just going to really sort of a broader picture as well. I'm just looking myself in the webinar. I mean, I've really been rushing around this morning, guys. I should have really had a bit more of a shave. I feel a bit scruffy. I've just been rushing so much, and we're in a mad rush at the moment. So you'll have to excuse how I'm looking today. But it's all about the content, right? Okay, so in terms of content, I wanted to focus on 3 things, 3 elements of your website, of the journey, and the kind of journey that people go on. So let's have a look at learning, vetting, and discussing. And I'm going to break those down, because this is going into more detail about the type of things that people, the psychology and the journey that your website visitors are going on. And so learning, vetting, and discussing. And so starting at the learning side of things, it is all about you on your website showing that you have the knowledge, and showing that knowledge, and showing that thought leadership. I'll come back to that in a moment. So people will land on your website. What they want to know, what they want to find out first is do these guys know what they're talking about? Do these guys know what they're doing? Are they experts? Okay. So I just want you to mull over that quickly. That's the learning. That's what people are doing. They're learning. They're actually literally learning from your website. You've got to help people to gain their trust. And in fact, actually, I often say that's back in March when we launched these webinars. I think it was the end of March. our intention was not to go through this journey and get people to show people that we know what we're talking about, so you'll eventually use us. In actual fact, I just really, we all started to work from home, and I thought, you know what would be good to do a webinar once a week. Stuck at home, don't speak to anyone, don't see anyone. We'll do a webinar. And so we launched webinars. We wanted to really help businesses. What we found though over the coming months is that people would turn to us and say, can we get your help with this? Can you help us? Can you build us a website? And we, genuinely, we didn't expect that kind of reaction, but we certainly got, we got absolutely loads of people coming to us, and we've delivered on all of those, and we're seeing some great results, which is what I referred to earlier. Amazing results, in fact. People are earning thousands of pounds more now than what they were last year because of what we've done. But it's incredible by doing these kind of webinars. It gets people to, it shows that you know what you're talking about. So this, though, we can not do a webinar. We don't need to do a webinar for you guys. But what we're saying is your website, your actual website, in a very basic way, it doesn't have to be very complex or advanced. It needs to show that you know what you're talking about. And then what people will do is they'll vet you. They'll be looking at that expertise, but they'll be looking at your case studies, and they'll be looking at your About Us page. So how does that About Us page look? Because that's one thing I haven't looked at yet, and I think I'll be doing that next week, is checking out the About Us page. Again, rarely do I see a great About Us page, but I'll be checking that out. It's important that you get these kind of bits and bobs on your website absolutely spot on. There's no service pages really here. I mean, you could say that the service pages fall under the expertise. Like, that's actually what you do, the expertise. The service pages are in there. But so the bigger emphasis, the bigger part of the journey is actually people just want to know if you're, who you are, who you've worked with. And here's the most important bit, guys. The most important thing that people are looking for is proof that you've solved someone else's, solved the problem that person has for someone else, if that makes sense. So, okay, I can see that you guys have solved the same issue that I have. You've solved that for someone else. Does that make sense? So, I mean, I know this is quite broad, and sometimes we have to kind of like fit this into different businesses. So, I was talking to a jeweler this morning. You're probably, if you're watching this, you know who you are. A jeweler's isn't really a thing where, have you solved a problem? But there is a kind of, we can work with that still, because we still need to show happy people that have bought and show actual examples of people wearing your jewelry. For example, if you go to made.com or even IKEA now, I've noticed that IKEA are doing it. By the way, made.com really know what they're doing when it comes to website design. But IKEA, for example, I think they've copied Made, if I'm honest. I remember seeing this for many years on Made, and then IKEA, I've just noticed it recently on the IKEA website. They have actual pictures of the furniture in people's homes. So you can see the sofa that you're looking at in the product. You can see that Instagram photos of that sofa in people's homes. Now, that is kind of the similar story. It's proof, isn't it? It's proof. It's evidence that your product or service has solved a problem for someone else, and someone else loves it. So that's kind of where we're going here. I hope this is making sense. And then the final part is discussing, which is actually contacting you. Okay, these guys know what they're talking about. I'm going to speak to them. So let's have a deeper look really quickly, just to summarize that. A few extra tips in here as well. Learning, thought leadership. What does thought leadership mean, and why should you be seen as a thought leader? Is that the right phrase? Why should you be demonstrating thought leadership on your website? I need a drink because I keep talking so much, by the way, guys, sorry about that. But yeah, thought leadership is all about, if you didn't guess already, it's all about you demonstrating the expertise that you specialize in, and actually helping people, offering advice without asking for anything in return. Okay. So what people are doing is they're figuring out what you're an expert in. And what you need to do first of all, I suppose, before that, is you need to figure out what you're an expert in. And I actually think I wrote that for that very kind of reason of to give you that tip of just you already know what you're an expert in. Have a think about how you can add value to your audience and how you can create content that speaks in your voice. So create content that speaks in your voice and forget the self-promotion. Okay, so I was helping another chap the other day who is a private GP in Harley Street, and he was using LinkedIn to do this very thing, and he's trying to put it on his website as well. And I noticed that he kept referring back to his product and his service. He kept saying, "Oh, and by the way, we can do this, and by the way, we do this." And I said, "You need to drop the self promotion. Just don't mention what you can do. You really need to you need to figure out the why. Why are you doing what you're doing?" And I ask you as a business owner, why are you doing what you do? It's not to make money. Okay, the money is a result of what you do. That's just a result of what you do. So the money will come. What you're doing, and hopefully why you're all doing what you're doing, is to help people. For example, that's just an example, is to help. So for him in this private GP in Harley Street, London, we established that he's doing what he's doing to help people. He ultimately loves fixing people, I guess. It's his passion, isn't it? So, and you've got to focus in on that. You've got to focus in on what you're an expert in and help people and show that you and do that on your website. So it might be a blog. It might just be content within the website that, you're offering advice. Just don't link it back to your products and services. You need to demonstrate. Remember, this goes back to this is the first step that website visitors check. It's the learning stage. The first thing that they do is they're looking for your thought leadership. They're looking to see if if you're helping people, if you can help people. And so what visitors are doing, these website visitors are thinking, wow, these guys are smart. These guys know what they're talking about. Maybe I should check out what they do. So I just wanted for everyone to consider that today, is that the first step of the journey on your website is not to check out your services and then contact you. It's actually to check out if you know what you're talking about or if you're the expert. So, for example, if you're a jeweler, and I'm picking jeweler out because I think that's quite a difficult one. I like to give myself a challenge here, is that, for many businesses watching, this is an easy thing to go, oh, yeah, I get this. I need to, as a solicitor, for example, a solicitor needs to give advice. If you're getting divorced, here's some advice if you're getting divorced. And, really promote that on your website, that help and that advice. Remember, don't mention that you are the expert and you can help them. Just help people without any self-promotion. Now, a jeweler, for example, that's a challenging one, because what on earth are they going to do? Well, they want to be talking about, for example, sizes, what to do when you're looking out for sizes of rings, maybe what jewelry goes best with, skin, example, types of color of skin, etc. And, for men and women, advice and things like that. But there's still, you still need to be an expert, come across as if you're an expert in what you do. So it could be that you're talking about the materials that you use. Let's think about that. Like, for example, a jeweler. This is all off the top of my head, and I'm just thinking maybe you think about writing content around how your material is sourced from X place that has zero emissions, carbons and all that, and it's the best quality gold or whatever, so you're talking about the actual material, you're talking about the background of the product, basically. And if you look at Apple, for example, who I always refer to because they're the experts in everything like this, they have about 100 employees for every single role, so that for this, even just thought leadership, they'll have about 100 employees, experts in writing content on their website, etc. So if you look at how Apple, maybe some of you saw that they launched a new iPhone last night, and they did a presentation. I urge you all to go onto the Apple website and check out that presentation and just look at how they talk about their product. They talk about the background of everything, the materials, the chips, the detail, the photography. They go into so much detail, and it's not, this is our product, buy our product. It's actually the background of everything. So that's thought leadership, and you've got to demonstrate that in your content on your website, because just a quick last reminder, I keep reminding, that's the first thing that people are doing, is they're checking out to see if you guys know what you're talking about. These guys are smart. They know what they're talking about. I'm now going to check out what they do. So now people only at this stage are they going to check out your service pages, and they're going to vet you. Basically, they're going to be checking out. It's going through that vetting process, checking out your case studies, your reviews. Obviously, case studies are different to reviews and testimonials. Testimonials and reviews are more kind of like customer comments. Great job, love them, really nice people. A case study is where you've actually done a report in terms of it's a page dedicated to when you worked with X, they had this problem and you solved that problem by doing ABC. So you used ABC to solve their problem and the results were X, Y, Z. That's what a case study is. So have any of you got case studies? It's even reviews. Obviously, that's a very good start. Obviously, if you've got reviews on your website, and I'm sure most of you do have reviews, but this vetting process, it's proof that you can solve the issues and also issues that are similar to the ones that they're having. So if a visitor to your website has an issue, this is all about proving that you've solved similar issues for other people. Proof that you're the experts in solving similar issues, basically. And then what people will be looking at as well is the about page. Obviously, they'll be looking at, who you are. If you've got a team, is there a meet the team on your website? I'd always encourage you to have a meet the team. So please do have that. I mean, we haven't actually got a meet the team on our website because we've got so much that we're trying to get through at the moment, but that is really high up on my list to get a meet the team page. I think I've already created the page. I need to just drop some photos in, but it's right up there at the top of my list. Need to get a meet the team. So you guys need to do that. No one wants their photos taken, by the way, but I'm going to make, you have to have a meet the team page. It adds so much trust to the journey. And the service pages that we're talking about we've mentioned the service pages already, but those visits are back and forth through the learning and vet. So people are going to those services pages. Let me just check everything's okay. Yeah, everything's okay. Making sure that people going to the service pages, the back and forth, as they're looking at case studies, as they've been looking at the who you are, they're back and like I say, back and forth through those service pages. And now the visitor's thinking, maybe I'll reach out to these guys. Only now are they thinking, okay, they've solved this issue for someone else, for many people. There's lots of reviews. They're really knowledgeable in what they do, right? That's the thought leadership thing. They're really knowledgeable in what they do. And I'm dropping in things throughout this, as I'm talking, I'm dropping these things in just to, because I'm sure there's some questions here, but, if by me, hopefully I'm helping by saying, that you're proving that you're knowledgeable, because I mentioned Apple, I'm mentioning a jeweler, jeweler could talk about the material that they use. That shows knowledge and that shows expertise as well. So maybe that's something to think about. Okay. So before I just go over the service pages in a bit more detail, just to drop back into the chat here. Okay. So, yeah, I'm going absolutely crazy in this webinar, Ross. I know. There's a lot to cover over the next few weeks, and Napoleon. Okay, so jewelry does make people happy as well. I completely agree with that comment. Get that on the website for the jeweler that I was talking about. But let's just focus in more on the service page. I'm hoping everyone can see this. If you can't see it, then I don't know you can't see it. So I'm just going to carry on anyway because I can't see the chat anymore. I'm literally talking to a screen. I can't even see myself anymore. So that's I can only see this slide in front of me. But let's hope you can see it. It's a bit. Don't worry, it's a bit small. I don't need you to actually see the detail on this. So I'm actually going to go on to a live example in a moment. But there's 3 elements, as you can see. Well, actually, there's 4 elements on this screen, and that is you've got service overviews. So 300 to 500 words is what you need on your service page, and these are just 3 example layouts. Okay, you could lay it out in one of these 3 ways. Hopefully, you can see the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 on each layout, and maybe you can see. Hopefully, you can see the heading. So on number 1, it says service overview, 300 to 500 words. And then number 2, it's proof. proof, related case study, and reviews maybe as well. So the reviews would be number 3. So those are the testimonials, the reviews. But notice that there is a case study separate to those reviews. We've never really talked about case studies in the webinar, so I just wanted to highlight that today. It's a really good way of showing how you've helped another customer. Now, you don't have to call it a case study. You could call it how we've helped other customers, or how we helped Bob. You could actually make a story of it. And why don't you write a story of how you helped, like I say, Bob, and put that case study together. And then finally, you've got the CTA, so the call to action. And it's this is an example. I think this is a solicitor example that we've put together here for if you're a solicitor, for example. This is the kind of wording. But essentially, these are the 3 to 4 main things that you need on your service page. Now, if you've got good eyesight, you'll be able to see within the service overview it says problem, solution, benefits. Problem, solution, benefits. Let's deep dive, as the Americans say, into that. So critical requirements is, just to recap, 300 to 500 words. Think about the journey. Think about the make it easy for people to go through and navigate through these pages. Think about the benefits, USPs. We've talked about this in previous webinars, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. These are just a reminder of the critical requirements. Make sure it's easy to get in touch with you as a business owner. I'm confident that you're all okay with that. I think we've all got those CTAs and paths to inquiry looking a lot better than what we did 7 months ago. So I'm really confident that you have made it easier for people on your website to get in touch. But what I want to just cover really quickly on the service page is what I often see is long pages. Okay, so this is a real typical problem that we come across is long pages of like, this is what we do this is, more stuff that we do. It's just constant. Here's what we do. It's just constant, long pages of content. And we want to try and avoid that. And I'm going to show you how. Because most people or prospects or visitors aren't just looking to find out what you do. People aren't just going to your website to look at what you do, remember. And that's the whole point of what I've said over the last 20 minutes or so, is that they're looking to see if you're an expert in what you do. And, if you're helping other people, etc. But what you've got to do with your service page, guys, is follow the problem, solution, benefits framework. Okay, so problem, solution, benefits. Now, I'll give you an example of problem, solution, benefits framework. So, in a nutshell, in a kind of simplistic form, it's that you have X problem. So I've talked about this again in other webinars as well, but this is all about your service page. Here's the problem that you may have. We have this solution that fixes that problem, and you will see these benefits. Okay, so it's problem, solution, benefits. So what we see a lot is people just saying, hey, we sell, computer desks. Let's get a better example. McDonald's. McDonald's don't just say, we make Egg McMuffins. I hope I'm making everyone hungry now with the thought of Egg McMuffins. But McDonald's doesn't just say we make Egg McMuffins. They just have Egg McMuffins. What they do is they say, are you running late for work and didn't have time for breakfast? I mean, they're not putting in all these words. I've written this, but it's essentially running late for work, didn't have time for breakfast. We have a super fast drive-through where you can pick an Egg McMuffin for £1. You won't be hungry and you'll have energy to start your day. Okay. Now, I've mentioned, many times that the big brands spend thousands, hundreds of thousands of pounds on this kind of content marketing. But you as a small business owner can do the same thing just by taking note of this and putting thought to this after the webinar. Give it a couple of hours of thought process and look at your service pages and look at your content on your website. How can you reword that content to follow the problem, solution, benefits framework? And so, like I say, that McDonald's way is to say, you're running late for work. That's a problem, isn't it? We can all relate to that, and that's how McDonald's market their service, their product. Running late for work, you didn't have missed breakfast, didn't have time. Yeah. We have a super fast drive-through where you can pick up it's the problem solution, and then they go on to the benefits by saying you won't be hungry. But I think the best benefit here is you'll have energy to start your day. So what is the benefit of your service? What is the benefit of every service that you have on your pages? And then you need to kind of put some thought to that and maybe rejig the content. And I really would love to see everyone hone in on those benefits and highlight those benefits on each service, basically. So I'll try and give you another example later on. But yeah, we were doing a website for a company. They do nationwide services. Basically, they do cleaning, security, everything from air conditioning to office, office kind of maintenance and things like that. Now, there's lots and lots of services. In fact, there's about 30 odd services. What we've got to do is we've got to focus on the benefits first, and it's the same for you guys. So, for office cleaning, we'll say, keep your people, let them get on with what they do well, keep them happy. We do deep office cleaning. You start with the benefits. Even it's absolutely fine. But if you want to start with the problem, it would be finding it. Are you struggling to find one company that does it all? Office maintenance, office cleaning, office security, for example. We do it all, office cleaning and then we're focusing on the benefits. So let's go through a couple of examples anyway. But let's focus in on the service pages. Really quickly. So I've got an example website here, and it's all about, this is counseling, for example. This is just a example website in our editor. Okay, so they've got their service page down as specialities, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this. This is kind of a typical layout. Let's just think about the layout, though, first of all, because this webinar isn't just about the content. We've talked about a lot there about what to put on the web on the service page. It's also about the layout. Now, I like the fact that they're using a small hero image, quite a low in height. On the homepage, you've got a kind of bigger area here with it's taken up with the kind of the brand, the message. Okay, and we've talked about this before. What's your brand message on the homepage? The identity. And I like the way they've changed the style on the service page. And that is exactly what I'd recommend first and foremost, is don't have every page looking exactly the same. Now, admittedly, some of our own websites will look quite similar across the different pages. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's just that I said to you in previous webinars, we learn and we develop ourselves every single week. We're on the cutting edge of trends and insights and data. And I just want to say this because we need to add some credibility here, because there's a lot of websites that we've done where each page, the top of each page, looks quite similar. It's got similar kind of hero, different image, but similar sizing. And it's absolutely fine. And that's what many, many web designers do. In fact, 90% of web designers do that. They just make similar looking pages. The upside of that is it gives a level of consistency throughout the website. So look at this one. I've gone to the About page here. Okay, so I'm on the About page of this website. And we've done this website. It obviously looks very cool. It's very, very nice. We have done this website. So this is evidence that we are, we're constantly getting ahead of the game in terms of design best practices. But the About Us page here looks very different to the service page. And again, that looks very different to the homepage. And that's what I'd recommend, if you can, is to try and mix it up slightly. But admittedly, that needs a really good designer. Now, this has been made by one of our top designers. And I can see it has, because of it's beautiful. Look, in terms of the spacing, in terms of the text, I love how small that hero image is. I love how clean and crystal clear this is all. It's all is here. It's beautiful. And then obviously you've got the About page, which really classy. No need for a heavy button. It's just a nice, discreet call to action to go to the next part of the journey. I think it's beautiful. I genuinely do. In fact, I love how the homepage is very different as well to typical. It's just great. So in terms of your website, like I say, make sure that it has a bit of variation on each page. But I was saying to you that we actually are Yorkshire's only Google Premier Partner and Microsoft Elite Partner. Sorry, those are the top two partnerships you can get with search engines, and that's the whole of Yorkshire, not North Yorkshire. Where Yorkshire's massive. I think it's probably one of the biggest counties. So we're one of only 4 in the UK that have that, and we're very lucky to be in that exclusive club where we get all this insight and data before many other agencies throughout the UK. And I'm very close, as you can probably tell. I'm very passionate about what is right in terms of design now. Not 6 months ago, 12 months ago. What can we do differently now? And so I just would consider that a little bit of a different layout. I really like this service page. The only thing I would say is everything's on one page, which is okay. They may have just essentially paid for one page, but I'd recommend having a page so you'd have a drop down if you can for each service. Because if you have a drop down with pages for each service, that really does help with SEO. So then, you're getting ranked for example, children counselling, addictions and things like that. You have a page dedicated to that service. Now, that would help with the SEO. Why does that help with the SEO? Because Google and Bing will actually find an actual page with all of the content. And they'll index that page, basically. They'll index it. So, for example, I'll try and find you an example. Children. I don't know. That's probably going to come up with all sorts of randoms. But let's do men's jewelry. Oops, my keyboard is. I need to change that slightly. There you go. My keyboard's a bit iffy at the moment. Okay, so men's jewelry. Let's have a look on the results, and you can see. I'm sure you all know this already, but that isn't their homepage. For example, this is going to take me straight through to the men's jewelry page, as you can see. Now, if you have a page like that for each service, that's why it helps, because the page actually gets found on Google when you search for that service. But on this example, we haven't. So this is going to help many business owners. I know a lot of you have just everything on one page. Absolutely fine. Keep the content minimal. As we have done here, you don't need more than this amount. This is one service page. I said 300 to 500 words, and this is probably just about right. But let's have a look at the content. Okay, so there is a problem there. Okay, so there's no solution. So maybe the content's lacking, like we can do this and this is what the benefits are. So maybe a little bit more, and maybe there's more getting added here because we're currently building this. But you can see what I'm saying. It's basically, it would start with the problem, it would then go to the solution and then talk about the benefit. And that's where you would add that content within that section there. Now, in terms of layout, notice that we haven't got a button in the hero image. We don't need a button here. We don't need a button here. We've got that button at the top right constantly. As I scroll down here, that button, book consultation, is always there. So I don't need to bombard the website visitor with all these buttons. It's always, keep it at the top, quite minimal. It's cool. It's classy. It's not going over the top with contact us now. I see that a lot, where it's every page at the top of every page, there's contact now. If you can have it in the header there, and if you've got it in the footer like this here, then it's absolutely fine. You don't need it all over the place. So I would actually try and avoid buttons in the hero image, just because of the fact it looks better, the design is better, it's cleaner. But if you had to, then that's, again, it's not the end of the world. What we would do is we'd add. I'm just going to mess around with this website. We'd add the button here, for example, like this. And it would be book a consultation. So let's pretend that button isn't in there. I would probably make that like a white color as well, just to make it stand out a bit better. Another trick we can do with to make text and things stand out is we can go like this. Let me just show you. Just add a bit of overlay, so you can actually darken, or I could change that background to white, for example. Let me just do that. Oops, it's logged me out. Maybe I've not been in it for long enough. So let me just go back to that. So you could put an overlay to get the text and to get the button to stand out a bit better. Let me try that one more time. There you go. You can actually make it stand out. Now, what I want to do is, obviously that doesn't look great, so I just want to play around with that. Maybe I could change that to a white color, and so on and so on. But I'm not going to mess around with that. I'm just going to, you know me, I can't leave it like that. I'm going to have to take off that overlay. There we go. It looks a lot better now. So if you had to put a button, there we go. Put the button there. Keep it all simple. Just describe what page the visitor's on. And then, yes, you do need the buttons underneath each service. So you do need kind of a call to action. Again, if you can avoid heavy buttons, so that's a heavy button at the top right. If you can avoid that, then do so, because this looks so much cleaner and nicer than having a button in the same. So if I try and kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about there. So you would just have. I see this a lot on websites. They've got heavy buttons going all the way down the page like this. I don't think it looks very good in terms of design. It just starts to look a bit heavy. Okay, so as you can see, if you imagine this, I think it's because I'm sharing my screen. Imagine that just on the left-hand side here. It's just because I'm sharing my screen. I'm doing quite a lot in one go here, but that would essentially be over on the left-hand side. But on every single section, it just looks a bit heavy. So I would actually stick with if you can, the text. Now on this page, at the moment, we haven't got testimonials or case studies, but you would absolutely need that. Again, I'm sharing my screen here, so it's going a bit slow. Obviously, I'm streaming a webinar, so things are a little bit slow, but you really should have the case studies, testimonials on here. So I'm not going to add it, but that's where, underneath the services, you would have that. So just go back to the example here. Let's use this one, for example. You've got, I know it's a bit blurry, but you've got the service overview, and it goes through to the case study, the actual case study of how you've done it for someone else, testimonials, and then you've got the call to action button. In this example, the call to action button is all the way at the bottom of the page. That's okay as well. You don't have to bombard people with those buttons, basically, those call to action buttons. But throughout the webinar, I've given you a few tips as to how to structure the content on your service page. Now, I did load up a website as well. I loaded up I was just looking around for other examples, and I came across some good examples. And these guys, this is just a blog on a website that's talking about service pages, and this is a nice way of laying out a service page. Well, make it clean, make it easy to for example, to click on something or to go through. The hovering effects, don't make it overwhelming. So basically when you hover your mouse on this service page on someone's website, the text comes up. It's just clean, and the content gets to the point. Use a precise message. So this is just giving you some backup as to what I'm saying, in that keep things simple. Don't go overboard with all that content. Remember, I said we often see pages and paid content, loads and loads of content about we do this, we're amazing. Stay away from that if you can. Here's another example of how someone's laid out their services. Nice and simple. It's bullet point form. Brilliant. With icons. Why these guys love this service page is icons, obviously, in terms of keeping it simple, and bullet points, like I said. It's very, very simple. Let's have a look if there's any more really quickly. All I did is I was just on Google looking at example service pages. In fact, this particular one here, I've seen this, we've done this. It's basically you click on the number and it tells people, and it comes up with the content. So the content's hidden. It's called an accordion. So you have to click on the item on the left to pull up the content like this. So that's called an accordion, which we sometimes use. Of course, make sure you've got accreditations, partners that you work with, like this, like logos. That's always useful as well. I think everything's using, pretty simple. I've talked about having the headline with the, the brand messaging. Start with the benefits, with minimum hassle, maximum efficiency, and great impact. Start with the benefits. They have got a button here. I don't know if this is their service page or not, but I don't know. It seems a bit strange that they've got a button there when there's loads of content below. But again, the layout of this service page is simple blocks. Look at the amount of content. That's the only point I wanted to highlight is the level of content. Keep it simple, guys. Don't go overboard with content. Okay, so got a question, and it's from Graham. I think it's just to me, so you guys might not be able to see. Okay, Graham, it seems I've got your question there, so I'll definitely check that out, Graham. It seems a bit odd, but I'll certainly get onto that straight away, Graham, after I finish this. So rest assured, we will look at that for you. Hope everything else is going well for you, Graham, and thanks for joining. So, guys, just before we end, does anyone want me to check their website? So we've got a couple more minutes, and I've got a bit more time. And whilst we do that, if anyone wants to drop in their URL, I'll check a couple. Obviously, I've shown you a quick example there. Oh, not yet. I don't want to. What I wanted to do is, before everyone drops off, is just mention that if anyone wants to start a PPC campaign, obviously we'd love to help. And yes, this is me pushing our own products because we have these vouchers, and I just we actually have some vouchers left apparently. And so I wanted to just put this out there, and apologies for mentioning our own product here, but we just have these vouchers, and it's £325 worth of PPC vouchers. Now, just to explain how these work, these are for people that are starting a new PPC campaign. So if you're already running a campaign with us, you would have already had this voucher. So don't worry. If you've got a campaign with InfoServe, you've already had these vouchers. Don't worry. If you want to start a campaign with InfoServe, we can actually give £325 free. So it's basically just a managed ad credit. So this is budget that we will manage. So you've got to manage budget basically with PPC. That budget needs spending and bidding on keywords, keyword management, keyword optimization, and all that. So it's like, this is the budget. We've got £325 and we will put that into a campaign. However, there is a minimum spend. We can't just give these for free. We literally can't enable these vouchers because the Google and Microsoft say there has to be a minimum spend to activate these vouchers. Now, that minimum spend can be from £150. So that's a monthly, but your monthly budget would be from £150. I just want to stress, though, if you're only spending £150 on PPC, it's good. It's a good budget, but I would just recommend at this time. And I mentioned Christmas earlier, that search volume will be dropping off absolutely at certain times throughout the next couple of months. But that's when you want to advertise. That's when you should advertise. You need to be getting being up there when people are searching. Even if fewer people are searching, if you're dominating those searches, you'll get all those inquiries. Even if it is 20% less inquiries, it just means that you're getting those at a quieter time. Now, that's why I would never stop a campaign, and I would never even pause a PPC campaign, even on Christmas Day. Get the searches that are happening, even if it's 90% fewer searches, get that 10%, because other business owners are thinking, oh, I'm going to pause my campaign on Christmas Day and over Christmas. I'm just going to pause it. We're not open. That's the worst thing you can do. People go on the journey. The PPC element of the journey is right at the start. People are just searching for you and discovering you. They're not going to instantly call you. And certainly, I would never pick up a phone to a business on Christmas Day. People are not that daft, are they? So basically, what we know is that people will do the search on Christmas Day, on Boxing Day, and so on. But they'll call you maybe in the new year. That's when the inquiry will come. Now, if you're not there at these times, even when search volume's low, you're going to be slower in the new year, coming into January and February. Your takings could have been higher if you'd been there. Now, like I say, £150 is a minimum budget. We Genuinely, this is your budget for PPC. This is nothing to do with us. We would always recommend £500 a month. I would always recommend £500 a month if you have that kind of budget. If you don't know, start at 150. We'll apply the 325 ad, so that will put the budget up anyway for the first 3 months. It is a 3-month campaign, but we do have those available. If you want to get in touch with us, just drop us a message on infoserve.com. Go and click contact on infoserve.com, and you can fill out a contact form and just put in the contact form that you're keen on that, on the ad credit, the PPC. Just stick it in the contact form. But someone's put a website in the chat, so let's have a quick look at this website before we go. My first impressions are, well, first of all, I've never seen this website, so it's always good to see a new one. I'm really always quite keen on seeing ones that I've not seen before. So first impressions are really good. How does this website make me feel? I feel like this is a very professional company, credible. It really is coming across quite credible to me, and classy as well. So first impressions here are really good. Let me just grab your name. Sorry, Harry. Sorry for flicking back. Harry, yeah, first impression's really good, like a 9 out of 10. I love the menu as well. The way you've got this laid out is very nice. Okay, good. So let me just, are these links as well? Okay, so those are links as well. Just checking you've got, yeah. Okay, so, okay, I like some of your content as well. It's, you're taking a different approach. I like it. I think that's a good job in terms of your content. That's the kind of benefit, definitely. The benefit is long-term contracts. How does that make people feel? Think about the emotions and results. The result of when someone uses you as a business. What is the result? You know, I don't know, peace of mind. And maybe that's a bit of a cliche one. Think of something, maybe think about how you can maybe get that in your content as well. You, for example, get peace of mind, or you could start with the problem, like I said earlier, in terms of I don't know too much about your business, but struggling to manage your business, struggling to grow your business, etc., etc. So, it could be just focusing on the problem, solution, benefits, Harry. But I really like what you've done here. I don't know how this would work on mobile. I assume this content would show on mobile. Always think mobile first, Harry. I'll have a look at mobile another time. But in terms of desktop, yeah, it's really nicely laid out. I think it's you've got all the accreditations, nice newsletter sign up there. Nothing wrong with that. Do you want to? Are you marketing to these people though? Because if you're marketing to these people, you need a tick box that. They agree to share the data and use that data, etc. You've got it here. I see you've got that. You've got the thing there, but I just don't know if you're marketing to people from that one as well. All good. Looks really good in terms of SEO. That's also very strong as well. Let me just go to one of the other main pages. London. See, he's focusing on that page on London, Ken. Yeah, Harry, I think this is really nice. This bit's getting a bit more messier now, to be honest with you. I'm trying to find any negative, Harry, because it's a genuinely really good website. It's just that this bit now looks a little bit less slick and professional as the rest of the website. I'm not sure what that bit was there. The featured service looks like it's just a title in its own, on its own, if that makes sense. And just some of this, like the text here. Oh my! Sorry, I'm clicking on it. I didn't mean to click on it, but the text there is different to the text there in terms of the line spacing. So it's just kind of detail, really small detail, Harry, just like that. Let me just go to your experts page as well. Yeah, really nice. You've got the meet the team as well, and then I like how every page is slightly different. Nice transition effects with the icons. Maybe again, just that. I'm maybe being a bit cheeky there. Maybe I don't know if I do like that. Although it's kind of cool that you've got that moving in. I like that. It's different, but I'm just being picky, Harry. You know, I'm just trying to pick out anything because it is a really good website. The only thing I would say, Harry, is you've not optimized this page, the About Us page. Title tag just says About Us. So just watch out for that. But genuinely, I'm really impressed. Just some of the small bits. You know, there's bit. It looks like you've maybe updated the website yourselves. It looks like a designer's done it, and then you come in now and again just to put some more content in. That's how it's coming across in places to me. But other than that, everything looks good. Watch out for that icon there next to the telephone number. I don't think that's showing properly, that icon. But yeah, really, really, really nice. Again, that page, the Contact Us page, could be optimized better. Harry, what you could do is go to our website and run a digital marketing audit on our website. If you just go to the homepage, and you'll see it says free SEO audit somewhere on our website. You can run it through that as well. You might want to go down on the website homepage and you'll see the free SEO audit. I think so. I'm going to check out. There's a couple of questions there. Ross, so I'll try and answer yours, even though it's. So Ross has got a question here. Before we go, Ross says, PPC for computer repair. There's some issues with that. Yes, Google introduced to allow a verification program. Okay. Okay. So we have indeed heard the news about that, actually, Ross. I think we could probably help. What I'll do, Ross, is I'll drop a message to our PPC guy to reach out to you. So me or him will reach out to you about that, and we'll see if we can help out. But Ross is basically saying for computer repair, he was unable to run. We had some issues with PPC because Google have some issues with computer repair specialists. So, but they've made some changes recently. Yeah, really good. Okay, it looks like there's no other checks. We ran out of time anyway. And I want to keep these webinars under 1 hour if I can. Next week, we're focusing on more things that you need to look at in the run up to Christmas, including things like the About Us page. But we are really going to be diving, like I say, into the actual Google marketing over Christmas. Like, what specifically should you do on Google in the lead up to Christmas and into New Year? There's some specific things that we want to talk about in terms of on Google, because there's some Google services that we want to kind of highlight to you and for you to consider. So if you do want to, by the way, set up a PPC campaign and get that ready and up and running, that momentum going for Christmas, just give us a shout on our website and we can give you a £325 voucher. And that's just with you spending 150. So it's not much at all. It shouldn't be too much of a hassle. But yeah, we'd always recommend a high budget, but you can at least get started on that. Thank you, guys. Ross, yeah, I've got your details. Still got your details. Don't worry. I'll reach out to you. I've got the chat log as well, so I can just refer back to this anytime. Always saves. That's me done. It's time to grab lunch. I hope you have a lovely day. Just looking outside, it's looking a bit brighter now. The weather's clearing up here in North Yorkshire. We're all good. We're all safe and well at InfoServe. Things are really good. We've taken on a new designer as well, so we're really excited about our new talented designer that we've got, ever expanding team. Everything's going well. Hope it's going well for you guys. But we're here for you. We are here for you every week, every Wednesday at 11 a.m. And if you want any more help outside of that time, just go to infoserve.com, fill in a contact form. And really, I have a couple of people that in the business that are really good in terms of speaking over the phone and helping you and advising you. We've got Darren, we've got Matt, we've got Jamie, and we've got a couple of others as well. But those guys are really good as me. So on that note, I'll leave it and see you next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And for those that are watching on recording, we'd love to see you live next week. It's been a while, but we are back and running with these bit more heavy webinars with some really good content. Thanks, everyone. And Nicola, your question just before I go, would we get the vouchers for a new campaign if we had one that will finish next month? Is Nicola, if that campaign's not with us, InfoServe, yes, you'll get a voucher. Even if you're running a campaign yourselves, PPC or with another company, as long as you're starting a campaign with InfoServe, and it's I think even if you had a campaign back in March and you want to start it again now with InfoServe. But if you're running it yourself or you're running it with anyone else, the voucher works. You'll get the £325 voucher. If you're already running a campaign with us, we can't apply a voucher again, unfortunately. So it is just for anyone starting a campaign with InfoServe. But you could be running PPC yourself. Absolutely fine. I hope that answers your question. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye and have a great day.